This is Sunday Sports Buzz, and I'm your host, Charlie Voelker, on 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio, and the free 104.5 The Team app. And it's time for our SEFCU Sunday Sit-Down. And this week we have an old friend, not really old, but familiar to the Capital Region, CBS sportscaster and former News Channel 13 alum, Andew Catalon. And Andrew, thank you for joining us this morning.
Charlie, great talking with you. Thanks for having me on.
So Andrew, of course, is married to another News Channel 13 alumni, and that's Jessica Layton. And how's Jessica and the family doing?
We're doing well. We appreciate you asking, Charlie. Yeah, we've been in Jersey now for a little over 4 years. We moved out of the Capital Region. We really miss it. Jessica's family is still in Burn Hills, and we have so many good memories and friends and family up there. So it's different. It's a whole different world, but it's crazy that it's 4 years removed, and our son is 6 years old.
Wow.
He's flying right now.
So before we get into current events and so forth, let's just go a little through what you've done. You've done the Olympics, the Masters, the PGA. What's your biggest wow moment? At some point you had to be like, oh man, this is cool.
Well, I've been pretty fortunate, and I never lose sight of that. I've had some great opportunities over the years. To me, it's still very exciting to call an NFL game every Sunday. I still love being in the booth no matter where I am on a Sunday, getting ready to call a game. Don't get me wrong, the NCAA tournament, the Masters, PGA Tour, those are all incredible highlights and things I look forward to annually. But every Sunday to be in that NFL booth means a lot to me.
I bet it does. All right, let's do a little bit here with golf. And has the pandemic made your broadcasts any harder?
So it's definitely changed a lot of things. And, I was scheduled to do a handful of events over the summer, all of which have obviously been moved around and reshuffled because of what's going on. So I did do the 3M Open in Minnesota last weekend, and it was really my first time working since March. I called the Mountain West Championship game in early March on college basketball and didn't put the headset on again until last weekend. So it was a long haul. It was great to be back at it, but it was also my first chance to really see what we're faced with covering live events. And, there's a lot of articles about it, and I'm not breaking any news, but we have about half the personnel working the events. Half the announcers are not even there on location. I was, but Nick Faldo was in Orlando. So it's just completely different. And I was so impressed and proud of my CBS sports colleagues, the way they've been going at it each and every week to televise these events. It's a totally different world, flying, staying in hotels. It's just obviously the world has changed. And for what these men and women are doing each and every week really makes me proud to be at CBS.
Yeah, and it's important for the people at home because you've really provided a distraction to people that are spending a lot of time at home and spending a lot of time in front of the TV. And for a long time, really, the country was void of sporting events.
Yeah, we were watching the same, old Yankee games on Yes Network and all these old classics. Yankees are still undefeated in their Yes Network replays, by the way. But yeah, the live sports slowly are coming back. I think it's exciting, and obviously it's a different ball game. But at the same time, as you pointed out, Charlie, people really are supposed to be at home or outside in their house and not really moving all around. So what better way to provide a distraction than some live sporting events? And it's been great to see these sports coming back.
Oh, it definitely has. This is Sunday Sports Buzz, and we're hanging out with an old friend, and that is Andew Catalon. Andrew, PGA next week. How much of an effect do you think this has on the players not having a gallery? Do you think some guys get pumped up, some guys it's easier on, or do you think this doesn't affect them at all?
I think there is an effect. I definitely think it's a factor. I think the question really is individually, which way does it work? Does it help you or hurt you? I know there's players that feed on that adrenaline of a crowd and then, really revel in it and embrace it. And then there's other players like the winner in Minnesota last week, Michael Thompson, who admitted that it was better to not have a crowd there for him because he hadn't won in 7 years and he was nervous and he thought that the lack of a crowd would take some of the pressure off, which I thought was good on him for admitting that. So I think it's a factor. I just think that for each golfer, it kind of varies as to whether it can help you or hurt you. And in Thompson's case last week, he admitted it helped him.
Do you think there's one more major victory in Tiger Woods? You've gotten to be around him a little bit.
I do. I mean, I never am going to count this guy out. Obviously, he's only played once since the restart, and that was at Memorial with, mixed results. Not playing in Memphis this weekend, but ready for the PGA Championship next week. And, I do believe that, we saw it in that exhibition he did in the spring. And, I still believe there's a lot of really good golf in Tiger Woods. And, anytime you have the Masters tournament, of course, he's won on so many times, and he knows that's the one course that's not going to change major-wise each and every year. And no one has better knowledge of it than him. So I think he's always going to be in the mix at the Masters tournament, and he can get hot at any week. We've seen that even in the last, couple of years, and I certainly think that he's not done.
You said your favorite is the NFL. You're heading into an NFL season unlike any others. Can you talk a little bit about what CBS is doing to prepare you guys for the NFL season and what type of coverage you're going to be able to have?
Yeah, I think the jury's still out on that, Charlie. I know we're closing in. We're about 6-7 weeks away, but I still think with the way our world works and things are changing by the day, that they're still formulating plans. I mean, obviously, I was supposed to do the Buffalo Bills preseason package again this August, and then that got wiped away, and that's disappointing because I love going up to Buffalo and seeing the Bills and checking them out. But as for the regular season, I'm not holding back. We're still formulating plans, and I think there's a lot of different options. I think that the hope is that the virus is a little more under control and we can travel to games. But if not, we'll have to adapt and adjust like so many have done over the last several months.
I don't know about you, but I'm more encouraged about what's happened with Major League Baseball in the first couple of weeks here than I am discouraged about the anomaly, what it seems to be with the Marlins. And it makes me feel like if the NFL learns anything from this and they make sure that their teams do the right thing, we could get through an NFL season.
Yeah, I think there's some truth in that for sure. And, I think that it's really going to come down to discipline and which teams and players have it and which teams and players don't. And I think you're going to see some interesting things this year. I think you're going to maybe see backup quarterbacks kind of being in quarantine, if you will, so that if the starting quarterback is tests positive, that the backup quarterback hasn't been in the same quarterback room with him. I think that these coaches, they're so smart that they're going to come up with a variety of contingency and backup plans so they're not caught on a Thursday trying to find a starting quarterback on a Sunday. So I think it's going to be fascinating to watch, and hopefully, again, in the next 6-7 weeks, our country continues to make strides in the right direction.
That's what we all hope for. That is our SEFCU Sunday Sit-Down with CBS sportscaster and our friend Andew Catalon. Andrew, thank you, my man. Really appreciate you joining us. Good luck to you, to Jess, the family. We love listening to you on CBS.
That's so nice of you, Charlie. Thanks for having me on, and good luck with the show.
Sunday Sit-Down is brought to you each week by our friends at SEFCU. When managing household finances, communication is key. Start with creating and committing to a budget. Write down the total net income coming into your household each week and keep track of the expenses and bills going out of your household. If there's someone else involved in the budgeting and spending process, communicate with that person and find out what financial goals you have in common. Check with your financial institution for budgeting tools and other options to simplify your budget. To learn more about developing a work budget, join SEFCU's educators in a live online webinar, Budgeting Basics, How to Grow Your Dough with Personal Spending Plan. SEFCU's Institute for Financial Well-Being offers more than 15 live online webinar topics through free public and private group classes. Webinar topics are available for all ages and include interactive learning on budgeting, planning, saving, debt, and investing. For more information, visit SEFCU.com/financial education or email them at financialwellbeing@sefcu.com.